Since ancient times, people have felt that the world is far more complex than it appears. We see walls, streets, the people around us. But behind this visible film, there is always something else. Every culture, every nation gave their own names to these unseen neighbors. Spirits, demons, angels, lairs, house guardians, ancestors, jinn. But if you remove all religious labels, one feeling remains. There is always someone else standing beside a human. Jinn are among the most mysterious inhabitants of this subtle world. Eastern sages wrote about them. Legends and frightening tales were woven around them. They were described as beings of smokeless fire, pure energy capable of taking any form. Some saw them as wish-givers, others as tricksters, deceivers, even human-eaters. But at the core, it's the same idea. They live on another frequency, close to us, and they can influence human fate. And if you think about it, modern people encounter this every day. We just call it differently. Coincidence, strange synchronicity, the energy in a room, the feeling that someone is here. This is the contact. Our ancestors were simply more honest about it. They acknowledged that beings walked beside them. And here is what matters most. Jinn and other entities are not fairy tales. They are metaphors for very real energetic forces that exist in this world. Some people never doubt their existence because they felt the pressure in an empty room, heard a rustle where no one stood, or sensed thoughts appearing in their mind as if whispered from nowhere. We like to think we are the masters of this world, that everything belongs to humans. But the truth is, we are only one of many species dwelling on this planet. Yes, we are dense and visible. They are subtle and unseen, but that doesn't make them any less real. And this raises the question, why are they here? What is the purpose of these entities entering human life? To scare? To help? To feed off our energy? We will try to uncover this. When most people hear the word entity, the mind instantly paints something dark, hostile, frightening. Because from childhood we were taught to fear what we don't understand. But the truth is, the subtle world is arranged just like ours. There are different roles, different characters, different intentions. Entities are not always evil. Yes, some feed on fear, anger, hatred. They are drawn to low vibrations because that energy is delicious to them. But there are others, those who feed on joy, love, inspiration. They become allies, amplifying the light inside a person, if that person chooses to hold that light. Imagine you walk into a room filled with laughter and warmth. You feel lighter. Your mood rises. You start smiling for no reason. That's not just people. That's also the field. Energies responding to those vibrations. And the opposite is true. When the room is filled with anger, jealousy, aggression, entities that feed on this appear. The space becomes heavy, and a person feels that heaviness, even if nothing visible happens. So saying all entities are evil or all are good is wrong. There is no pure black or pure white. There is resonance. You attract those who vibrate the way you do. You are a magnet. What you radiate, you receive. And here lies the key idea. Entities are a mirror. They amplify what already lives inside you. If you are in fear, they multiply fear. If you are in love, they strengthen your light. And one more important truth. They have no power over you directly. Their power lies in your attention. Feed them, they grow. Withdraw attention, they disappear. People often ask, how do I know who is near me? A helper or something that drains me? There is no magic button, but there are signs everyone feels. 1. The feeling after contact. A bright entity leaves lightness. Your breath deepens. The tension melts. The heart warms. A dark one leaves emptiness, anxiety, fatigue, as if something inside was taken. 2. The thoughts that come afterward. Light brings ideas that inspire. Creating, loving, building. Dark brings impulses of destruction, jealousy, offense, anger, irritation. They feel like your thoughts, but they are not. 3. the body's reaction. Light relaxes the body. Breathing becomes calm. Dark tightens the chest, presses the throat, makes the heartbeat restless, like something is pushing you toward the wrong direction. 4. The direction they lead you. Light leads you back to yourself, your essence, your truth. It never forces. It guides. Dark leads to dependency, making you feel like you can't live without something or someone. And that's the simplicity of it. Entities do not hide. They express themselves through your own reactions. Listen to yourself, and you will instantly know who you're dealing with. Many believe encounters with entities are something mystical, distant, only for esoteric people or magicians. But in reality, this happens every single day. Think about it. Surely you've met someone after whom you felt drained, like you ran a marathon. No energy, bad mood, everything collapses around you. That is a classic sign of a dark influence working through a person. It's rarely a monster. It's an ordinary human, a neighbor, a coworker, even a relative. But at some point, a person becomes a conduit for someone else's energy. And has the opposite ever happened to you? You talked to someone, and it felt like you breathed life in again. You wanted to create, to laugh. You suddenly felt confidence, joy, lightness. That is a bright influence. Through such people, higher beings act. Angelic flows, luminous entities. Call it whatever you like. They amplify you. I know stories where people in the hardest moments of their lives felt that someone invisible was nearby. A driver who narrowly avoided an accident said he felt a hand on his shoulder and a sudden urge to turn. A woman in deep despair heard a voice inside. "Stand up, you can do this." And it saved her life. These are all examples of the work of bright entities. But the same happens with dark ones. Some people admit that they suddenly felt a strong urge to do something stupid, to hurt someone, to snap, to lash out. And later they realized, that didn't feel like me at all. That is how an attachment works. We often think, this is just who I am. But if you stop and ask, where did this thought come from? Why do I feel this way? It becomes clear. It's not yours. The first thing you must understand is this. No entity, whether bright or dark, can enter your field without your permission, even if that permission is unconscious. Every time you stay angry for too long, replay old hurts, complain, or judge others, you're basically opening the door and saying, "Come in, help yourselves." Dark entities live on low vibrations: fear, envy, anger, guilt. When you feed these emotions, you become a magnet for them. They go where the nourishment is. Bright ones, on the other hand, move toward joy, love, gratitude. They amplify what's already inside you and help you hold that light. Protection is always simple. It requires no rituals. Your state is your shield. The moment you can tell yourself, stop, you already close the entrance. When you can redirect your focus from heavy thoughts to something that brings you joy, your protection becomes strong. When you can feel gratitude even for difficulties, an entity simply cannot latch on. Another powerful way. Remember, you always have a choice: to be a battery in someone else's game, or to live from your own power. When you consciously choose yourself, your light grows so bright that darkness simply dissolves. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start small. Notice your thoughts. Notice your feelings. Every thank you, every smile is a brick in your fortress where parasites cannot enter. Don't look at words, promises, or appearances. Look at your state after the contact. If you feel warmth, peace, inspiration, if you want to live, that is light. Light never forces, never pressures. It gently guides and strengthens you. If you feel emptiness, anxiety, apathy, anger, heaviness, that is dark. Even if it comes in a beautiful disguise, darkness always reveals itself by stealing your energy. Remember, nothing can reach you without your consent, and consent is not words. It is attention, emotion, your inner focus. Where your attention goes, energy flows. So choose what you feed. You are the master of your reality. Thank you for your awareness and your presence. Wishing you blessings, bright thoughts, and a good mood. See you in the next video. Take care.